I'm keeping an eye out, just in case. From number 28's been round again. Only this time, I caught her. Red-handed. Lead in hand. Dog pissing up my gatepost. Now then, I shouted. Why don't you take that bloody mutt and let it piss on your gatepost? She glared at me, speechless. If I catch you doing that again, I shall personally come around and piss on your gatepost myself, I said. She quickly scuttled off. I blamed the TV and bloody mobile phones myself. Be more dog, they say. Be more dog. I mean, they're encouraging folk, aren't they? Oh yeah, let's all be more dog. Let's all go outside right now and start humping the leg of the nearest unsuspecting female. Let's all creep out at the dead of night and shit on our neighbour's newly cut lawn. Let's growl and bark at each other as we pass in the street. Or better still, sniff each other's genitalia as we pass. Be more dog? The world's gone bloody mad. In 2025, there are an estimated 13 million dogs in the UK. That means every 10 days there are 130 million dog turds dropped on the land. Approximately 403 million turds a month. They're not all being put into little black plastic bags to be thrown into bushes and trees, are they? You often hear dog owners boasting about how I always carry a bag to pick up his little deposit. I know immediately that they don't own a Labrador or Alsatian when they use the phrase little deposit. Oh, have you noticed how most public parks are now devoid of keep off the grass notices? That's because you don't walk on the grass in parks anymore for fear of getting a dog turd on your shoe. It's everywhere. I heard on the news that post the COVID virus, all dogs in China are now to be considered pets, as opposed to the previous livestock. Good news for the dogs, I suppose. I saw a comment posted from a well-known lover of dogs with connections to Crufts, saying how thrilled he was that the Chinese government had taken a great leap forward in the humane treatment of animals. I thought, has anyone told the pangolins the good news? I beg to differ. If the Chinese government could just treat its humans better and stop their abhorrent indoctrination, as I call it, of the over 1 million Uyghur Muslims that they've imprisoned and separated from their children, who they're now in the process of training like dogs. If the Chinese set them free instead of caging them like dogs, then we might be getting somewhere. And like they say in China, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. As far as I can see, they haven't taken the first step yet. I suppose the last comment will have got me name down on some Chinese death squad hit list. Now we're on 5G. You can't fart without the Chinese knowing about it. I bet they know all about her dog pissing on my gatepost. That was a bright move, wasn't it, Boris? 5G? If I had to describe Boris Johnson in 2 Chinese words, they would have to be dim sum. Her at number 28 calls her dog Putin. It's misnamed. It's a crossbred pit bull. Yappy little thing. Although Putin tries to come across as something of a pit bull, I see him as more of a pug, really, because of his diminutive size. Noisy little man. Small, in every sense of the word. I better be careful. Apparently, people are being killed for less. He'll be sending members of the GRU to pay a visit. I can see them now, coming down the high street, 2 of them, with a tourist guide to St Mary's in one hand and a bottle of Novichok in the other. I'm not worried. I realise at my age that death is always coming down the high street, in the guise of either a heart attack, stroke, brain hemorrhage, or arse over tit over the bonnet of a Mini Cooper. Other cars are available. Of course, as it swears to avoid a bloody dog in the road. Novichok. Sounds like confectionery, doesn't it? I see Putin now, dressed from head to toe in black inside a military helicopter flying low over the sea on a stormy night. He's wearing his Cuban heels to give him that all-important extra half-inch in height. I see him, well, his stunt double, abseiling from the helicopter into the storm-tossed sea. Cut to another shot as Putin's double pulls himself out of the sea onto a rocky outcrop, which he climbs up to a castle window, which, for such a stormy night, is, I think, carelessly left open. It's a bedroom window, of course. Cut to final shot. The real Putin in the bedroom walks over and places his box of Novichoks on the bedside table. Then heads back out through the window. Final voiceover. And all because the lady loves Novichoks. Deadly. Delicious. They say we're a nation of dog lovers. Bullshit. In 1 year in the UK, there were 170,000 cruelty to dog complaints. 102,900 dogs had to be rescued and collected. Dog lovers, eh? We don't love them. To love something, you have to set it free. We exploit dogs in the same way as we exploit all animals. Dogs have become a commercial commodity, or worse, a fashion statement. An accessory, used to sell everything from toilet rolls to mobile phones. A question to all of you dog lovers out there. Of the 101 Dalmatians, how many would have been born deaf? 30% of all Dalmatians are afflicted with deafness. 50% of all short-nosed breeds have breathing difficulties. Imagine your whole life struggling to breathe. They're bred indiscriminately with little or no regard for the outcome, to be sold like toys or shoes. They have new strange names like Labradoodle, Cockapoo, and Puggle. What do you call a dog magician? A Labracadabrador. And what happens when your designer pooch is no longer the latest model? 40,000 dogs in the UK are discarded every year for a variety of reasons. Ironically, most of them suffering isolation anxiety from being left alone for hours on end, like a pair of old trainers, eh? There are owners who really adore their dogs and care about them passionately. They tend to go to the other extreme, though, treating their animals like real humans. This weird and childish anthropomorphism has even got to the point where you can buy hiking boots for your dog and a doggy sleeping bag. Even a memory foam mattress for your dog's bed. I kid you not. There's a dog on Instagram that is said to have 3.9 million followers. Doug the Pug. Of course, it's Doug the Pug's exploitative owner who really has the followers. These are the sort of people who would spend their last penny on their dogs whilst begrudging a homeless person in a shop doorway change for a coffee. We treat our homeless worse than we treat our dogs. That's a damning indictment in 2025, isn't it? But I mustn't be too critical. After all, it's big business. Almost £1 billion a year spent on dogs. We don't want to upset the money men. They'll put out a contract on me. I will awaken from my afternoon nap and find Claire Balding hovering over me, gun and silencer in hand. Well, she'll do anything if the price is right. God forbid I should threaten a Crufts contract. Of course, just like us, dogs age and eventually reach the leaks and seepage stage of their lives. You always know when visiting people, particularly the elderly. They always have a blanket on the sofa where the dog seeps. I never feel like sitting down in a room where a dog has been. I once visited a friend in Somerset, just outside Glastonbury. We were sat in the garden on a gloriously sunny day. I myself perusing a magazine. Opposite me, my friend's mother-in-law, well into her seepage and leaks stage of life. She just moved down to Somerset from Yorkshire, as she wasn't managing on her own. Her beloved Yorkshire Terrier having passed away a few months before. My friend happened to mention what a delight it was to be in such beautiful surroundings on such a gorgeous day, when, without an iota of irony, a mother-in-law said, "Oh yes, there was nothing I liked better than being out in the garden on a sunny day, stroking my little Twinkie." You can't blame the dogs, really. They are, in fact, dragged to where the owner wants them to shit or piss, and God forbid it should be in the owner's back garden. That dog would then have its nose rubbed in its own excrement. But having said that, 403 million turds a month is a lot. The only sane conclusion I can come to is that we need a national cull. There are just far too many now. You're becoming a public health hazard. Oh, I can hear the howls of protest from here. I imagine a steady stream of dog turds hitting me back door ad nauseum. Packs of hounds being let loose on me as I make my way to the corner shop for a bottle of milk. Rabid dog owners trying to lash me to death with leashes. You're only angry because it's true. We need a bloody cull. But like I said, before you go completely mad, you can't blame the dogs. I'm not a monster. I would never harm a dog.